Hey everyone, welcome back. Happy spring. I hope wherever you're listening from, you are experiencing the beauty of all this season has to offer. I am loving it. I love hearing the birds and seeing the trees in bloom and the flowers creeping up, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful season, especially after the winter. And it's funny, being from the north, I love seasons, but I would always answer if someone asked me which one was my favorite, that fall or autumn was. Like, I love that season. And it's funny to me because every single year, spring just seems to take me by surprise, and I forget just how much I actually love spring too. So I think I just like the transition seasons in between the contrast of hot summer and cold winter. Although in Florida we don't get too cold, but it still does get, cold at times. We had some freezes here, but it's a glorious, glorious time of year, and I am really enjoying it, and I hope you are too. It's also a good time to sort of like take stock of where we are and what needs to change, to kind of clean up our act of sorts. People talk about spring cleaning in regards to your house. I kind of think it needs to happen with your life as well. And I'm kind of doing that. I'm assessing where I am and in my own walk, my own health journey, which I mentioned in a previous episode. Well, if you're a listener of mine, you will know that I mentioned that in a lot of episodes because, I don't think this journey is ever ending. It's not one that we ever fully get, because I think you're always going to find ways to improve yourself in your own walk in life. So what I'm doing now, I'm about 3 or 4 weeks into a health program I mentioned last episode. It's called Reform Wellness, and it's a faith-based program, and I'm absolutely loving it. So it basically breaks things down into pillars of health and wellness, faith being at the center of it all, and then everything coming out from there. So what we've talked about so far, faith, sleep, and stress management. And then this week we're going to jump into functional movement. So it's very exciting. I really, like I said, the program is amazing. Just the support and how they go into it. And even though I know a lot about health, sometimes it's just a matter of taking it down to simple things and hearing things from a different perspective that helps you say, oh yeah, this would be something that I either need to add or change up or whatever. And some of the things that I'm learning here, like I said, or even just considering, I feel like, wow, these are things that I need to change, and I thought maybe they could help you too. So one of the things that they talk about is, again, because this is a faith-based Christian program, is the fact that Sabbath is a commandment, not an option. So, like I said, as Christians, we know in the 10 Commandments, God gives us that command for Sabbath, which is basically a day of rest and worship. And we know, like most of us, you either consider some point during the weekend, whether that's Friday into Saturday or Sunday being the Lord's Day, whatever in most faith practices, there is one day that you take for that, or supposed to. I know even in my own life, how many of us really even take that one day of true rest? We may go to church, you may worship in whatever way that you do, but are you really taking the day to rest? I don't always. Sometimes that's the time I need to do to catch up on stuff. And it's no wonder when we run ragged 7 days a week without taking that day of rest and, true rest, why we feel stressed out all the time and why we feel like we can't catch a break or we're always on the treadmill of life, It's almost like God knew what he was doing when he gave us that commandment. So that is something that I really want to also look at in my own schedule is, we make church a priority. I love going to Mass. It's a beautiful time of the week. But I also want to look at then what happens the rest of the day. And, are we spending it with our families? How can everyone in our house find true rest and just make it a day of truly recharging? They also talk about not only, so, you have your Sabbath, we think of it as one day out of the 7. But another thing in this reform program is they mention taking a daily Sabbath, which would be 1 hour a day to spend with God, again, in rest, but with him. So whether that's 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, or, half and half, to kind of bookend the day. I love that idea. So I'm pretty good about doing it in the morning, but where I fall short is the evening. So I've talked before about my morning routine. I absolutely love it. It's definitely something that sets my day off on a high note. I love to get up in the morning and I have coffee with Jesus. And, I read some devotionals. I have my silent prayer time. It's a time for me to look over my calendar and get myself all together for the day. Get, any small tasks that I can just do and knock out. Ideally, I would love to have exercise be a part of that, but with homeschooling and all the other activities that I do on a normal basis, I haven't found a time to kind of fit that part in. Everyone always feels this way too, right? We just need that extra hour in a day. And I need to start working on getting up earlier so that way I can fit everything in the beginning, because once I do that, I spend time in prayer, get the tasks done, then I feel like the rest of the day, I can be present in everything else I'm doing without thinking of the next thing because I'm already have a plan. If something comes up to derail me, or the plans or something happens, I have more flexibility. It's worked out so well. So daylight savings time, however, was not my friend. And then I traveled. And so it has set me completely off. I also feel like my body likes getting up with the sunlight. So now that it's darker in the morning, it's harder for me to wake up at the time that I was, which is around 6 a.m. I'm now closer to 7:30 or 8, which makes me lose some time. So I am working on inching that clock back so I can get back onto the schedule that I had going before we, like I said, changed the clocks and I was out of town because I still feel like I'm getting caught back up. Which, random aside, I feel like is crazy because I was only gone a week with a couple days of travel on either end. But it's the week prior getting prepared to leave, and then it feels like a couple weeks kind of re-entering your life after being gone. I mean, it's amazing how just one trip can set you off course. So it's why it's important to have these good habits in place. Because then it does make it a little easier to come back in. Although, like I said, the struggle is real. But the morning routine is key to, I think, how I approach the day, how I interact with my kids, how I just how I feel in general. It helps me be calmer, like I said, because I feel accomplished. I feel centered. I feel like, spending those first moments of the day with God, it allows me to plug in to Him, which then recharges me. And then, like I said, all the other things. So morning routine, and I think, there are so many gurus out there and coaches and people way smarter than me that is one of the number one tips that anybody will say is that morning routine, right? But again, it's different. This, but making it happen for yourself. So if you don't have one, I suggest it. It's so worth it to get started. Even 15 minutes earlier than your normal wake up time. Just try it and see how it works for you. I'm still working on, ideally, the more I have it, the more I want. So like I said, I'm working on scooching up the clock so I can fit in exercise to that as well, because that would be huge to be able to, feel productive in my world anyways. Another funny thing is I used to be a night owl. And I think especially when I had kids that were smaller, they go to bed around, 7, 8 o'clock. And then that was my time for myself that I finally got. Because, you're on all day, hands on with the kids, keeping them alive, feeding everybody, running to activities. So when they go to bed, it's like, oh, okay, this is my time. And I would be up so late. And what I didn't realize is, at the time, because then, even though my kids slept in, praise the Lord, I had kids who slept in, I was still ultimately burning the candle at both ends, because I'm getting up with them and jumping right into my day without any thought or anything else, and staying up too late at night to try to get those, it just felt so good to think my own thoughts, to just be Stacy and do whatever I wanted to do, whether that was work or watch TV or whatever. Like, that was my time. But I would stay up way too late. And it would be sometimes 1, 2, sometimes even 3 in the morning. And so I wasn't getting enough sleep perpetually. And then I wasn't taking any time for myself in the morning because the kids would wake me up when they got up, and then like I said, jumping right into the day. And I just realized I was not being a good mom. I was not being a good human. So something needed to change. And that was where the morning routine came in. And I forced myself to start going to bed earlier so I could get up and have that time in the morning instead. And whoa, what a difference that shift was for me. And I think the kids feel it. I think my husband feels it. I'm just definitely a much better Stacy to do it that way. So when people always say, well, I'm a night owl, that's not going to work. Yeah, I was too. I'm a recovering night owl. So, and now I've just trained myself. So I am tired by 10 o'clock at night, 10:30, I'm ready for bed. I can't hang like I used to the wee hours of the morning. Every now and again, yeah, that's fine. But on a regular basis, no way. So my hours have definitely shifted, and I think yours can too. You just have to try. And like me, working my way back to where I was before daylight savings, just set the clock 15 minutes earlier every day to try to get yourself there to wake up, and then make sure you're trying to get to bed on the other end of that. But so again, that solid morning routine is huge, like I said. And I think once you get started with that, you will realize just how beneficial it is. And I like it more, in the morning. But one of the first steps to getting a solid morning routine is to start the night before. Which seems kind of crazy, but that's what helps me. So really then what you need is a solid evening routine. And here's where I lack. I try to do it, but I'm really inconsistent. And this was something that they talk about also in this reform program. And I need to be better, because by the end of the day, I'm tired. I've run the kids. We've homeschooled. I've ran them to activities, made meals. I'm tired. I'm all done. And my husband, thank God, is an amazing partner to me, and he helps out so much around the house, and he picks up a lot of slack for me. Not that it's all my job, but we have a really, really good partnership, is my point. But I'm still exhausted. And probably in a good way. It's been a day well spent, right? What I need to focus on, instead of just scrolling mindlessly on my phone, or I'm not a huge TV watcher, but I don't have the mental capacity or even attention span for that matter. Like, I'm just done by the evening. And what I want to work on is unplugging at least an hour before bed. And I've talked about it before, but this is where I've failed, is in the implementation. So this is now one of my goals for the next couple weeks, is to take the time 1 hour before bed to be off my phone, be done scrolling and all of that. Because, at some point it's just like, it's ridiculous. You're just scrolling and scrolling, and you're not even hardly paying attention to what the heck you're looking at. So, I want to unplug. I want to get prepped for the next day. So what does that look like? For me, it's going to mean looking at my calendar, seeing what I have. What do I need? Do I need to have meals together because I'm running out the door at 5 p.m. to get the kids to an activity? Do we need to have a lunch plan? Set my vitamins out and have them all ready to go so I don't have to think about that. I'd get the coffee pot together so when I do get up in the morning, I can just get that, started and it's all ready to go. So what can I do to make myself better, and my routine more together for the morning? I said that kind of awkwardly, but I think you get what I'm saying. Like, what needs to be done that it can just be easier in the morning to jump in and do all the things I need to do. So for me, like I said, vitamins, coffee pot, thinking about meals. What will be my looking at the day? What are my highest priorities? So I can try to knock those out as early as possible. And, also adding in prayer then in the evening. Which I do pray with the kids before bed, but how can I really do it better to spend more time to end the day, well? Another thing, if there's things on your brain that you feel stressed out about, what's on your mind and heart, writing those down, because that can impact sleep too. If you go to bed and your mind is racing, I have found writing things down, whether that's journaling or bullet points or a to-do list or priorities, that can really help. For me, I felt like if it was down on paper, it was out of my brain and then I could rest. So I really go into bed to just sleep. But if this helps you, have it at your bedside, like a notebook or a pack of sticky pads. I keep my calendar and everything out at my desk, so I think I would go there, write down, make sure I have everything down that I needed to get off my brain. If I need to write any other things down, prayer intentions, or if I have anything pressing that I need to, I can write in my journal and just leave it all there. So that way my brain and my heart can be lighter and I can then go into rest, true rest, and put the day to bed. So I think this is where I need to focus is, yes, getting up earlier for the morning routine. But I also want to get this solid evening routine as best as I can and understand, that not every day is going to be the same, and being flexible with when inevitably life comes up, but just thinking about the tasks that I can do to set myself up for success and productivity. So I can feel like I'm getting off the treadmill and accomplishing things, because let's face it, everybody has a busy life. Everybody feels like they're running from thing to thing. Everyone feels overwhelmed. I think this is just our life, but it also doesn't have to be that way. Like, so for me, the activities I do are, you know, for the kids and for me with my different deadlines and everything else. You know, I try to simplify as much as possible, but what I have now is my life. And so, yes, it's full, but how can I not feel like I am stressed out, that I am overwhelmed, that I am running from thing to thing? And that is, I think, in finding that rest. So I get recharged, plug into my source, which is God for me, and let Him do the work through me, right? And then also just feeling like I am more balanced and able to be a better human and just be my best self. So I hope these tips will help you. I mean, walk with me in this journey. Which area do you need to work on? Is it morning? Is it evening? Is it both? What do you think you would implement that would make the most impact on your life? Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. Connect with me on all the socials and find me on my website, hotmesshomeschooler.com, and let's chat. I hope you all have a beautiful week ahead of you. Please let me know if you are able to implement any of these and what difference it's making in your life. Stay tuned. I'll keep you posted. Bye.